Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping into a tool that is absolutely essential for any business: financial forecasting. Now, I know it might sound a little complicated, but at its heart, it's really just about getting an honest look into your financial future so you can make much smarter decisions today.
You've probably heard this before, right? But it's not just some clever saying. It is a fundamental truth. A company can look great on paper, totally profitable, but still go under if it runs out of actual cash to pay its bills. Seriously, that's why managing your cash flow isn't just important, it's job number one for survival.
So that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? How do you make sure the well doesn't run dry? Well, to answer that, we're going to follow the journey of a company called Bridgewater Pumps and Filters. By seeing how they plan their financial future, we'll get a real-world look at how this whole process works. Okay, let's get down to it. For Bridgewater, the very first step is to get a crystal clear understanding of their cash situation. And to do that, they're going to rely on one really powerful tool. Think of a cash budget like a financial GPS for your business. It's not just a snapshot of where you are right now. No, it maps out the road ahead, showing you all the turns, when cash is going to come in, and, just as importantly, when it's scheduled to go out.
So where does this all begin? Well, pretty much everything in financial planning, and I mean everything, is built on one single starting point: an objective, honest-to-goodness forecast of how much you're actually going to sell. This one number drives almost every other calculation you're going to make.
Now take a look at this, because this is where it gets interesting. Bridgewater breaks down its sales. They know that 60% of their business is from system replacements for existing homes, and the other 40% comes from new home construction. This little distinction might seem minor, but trust me, it's about to become a very big deal.
And here it is. This is the big one, the one concept that can make or break a company. When you make a sale, that's great. You can book that revenue. But you don't actually have the money. Not until your customer pays the bill. That gap, that delay, is exactly what a cash budget is designed to manage.
And this is exactly why that sales mix we just saw is so critical. See, for those replacement sales, boom, cash comes in right away. But for their new construction business, they have to wait. They get paid for most of it the next month, but for a third of it, they're waiting a full 2 months. That time lag can have a huge impact on their bank account.
All right, so we've tracked the cash coming in. Now let's flip the coin and look at the other side of the equation, forecasting all the cash that Bridgewater has to spend to get its products made and out the door.
So to make one of their pump systems, it costs them $1,100. Simple enough, right? Well, just like with their sales, that total amount isn't the whole story. What's really crucial for their planning is when they actually have to pay for all the pieces of that cost.
Wow, okay, this really paints a picture, doesn't it? I mean, for a product they sell in 1 month, the cash payments are spread out over 4 different months. They're paying for raw materials way in advance, then wages, then utilities, and they don't even pay for shipping until the month after the sale. It's pretty complex.
All right, it's time for the moment of truth. We're going to bring the cash coming in and the cash going out together into the cash budget, and we're going to see what the future actually looks like for Bridgewater. First up, they take their sales forecast and that collection schedule we talked about, and they project all their cash receipts. This line right here, that's the total cash they actually expect to have hit their bank account each month.
Next, they map out all the cash going out the door, their disbursements. This is all based on their production plan and that payment timeline for materials, labor, and everything else we just looked at.
And when you put it all together, boom, there it is, the moment of truth. You subtract the cash out from the cash in, and you can see their projected ending cash balance for every single month. And look at that. In some months, they're projected to have a shortfall. They're in the red. This is the exact kind of problem that forecasting helps you solve before it becomes a crisis. Now, you might look at that and think, oh no, they're in trouble. But that's the whole point. Seeing a future deficit isn't a failure. It's a huge win. It's an incredible opportunity to be proactive because the forecast has just given the managers the most valuable thing in the world: time to make a plan. So what can they do? Well, the forecast lays out a clear set of choices. If they see a deficit coming, they can plan ahead to use savings or maybe arrange a loan. And if they see a surplus, they can decide how to put that extra cash to work, maybe pay down some debt early or invest in a new project. They have options.
So that cash budget is obviously a powerhouse tool. But believe it or not, it's actually just the foundation for something even bigger. It's the engine for a company's total financial planning.
Yeah, that cash budget helps create these things called pro forma financial statements. It's a fancy name, I know, but you can just think of them as a dress rehearsal for a company's official financial reports. They use the forecast to paint a complete picture of where the entire business is headed.
And the process for building them makes a ton of sense. You start with what you know, last year's results, then you apply your new sales forecast to see how things are going to change. This lets a company get ahead of really big events, like, say, needing to raise money for a major expansion. Okay, so after following Bridgewater's whole journey, from a simple sales guess all the way to a full financial plan, what's the single most important lesson here?
It's definitely not about having a crystal ball that gets every single number right, down to the last penny. The world is just way too unpredictable for that to ever happen.
No, it's about being prepared for whatever comes your way. That's the real power of forecasting. It's about understanding the rhythm of your business, that flow of cash in and out, so you have the info you need to make smart moves and, crucially, the time you need to make them.
Thank you for joining us for this explainer.